Today is a Saturday, the 9th of May. As usual, every Saturday we used to have chanting and meditation starting at 8 o'clock. And somehow, due to different issues and different activities, we some sort of a discontinued. And now, since we are living so many, we should pursue to practice, emphasize more on a practice, since the center is dedicated towards the cultivation of practice. So over the weeks, every Saturday, we will focus on the Satipatthana Sutta. Try to memorize the sutta itself. And also applying in our practice. So the introduction of the Satipatthana Sutta is basically telling who, when, how, and what. It's not entering to the real practice itself. So we started off saying Evam me sutang. So when we look at the suttas, almost every sutta starts off with Evam me sutang. And here, Evam me sutang, the word refers to the Venerable Ananda, who was the Buddha's attendant for 25 years. Since he was the attendant of the Buddha for 25 years, he was believed to be a monk who could remember even one hearing. And after the Buddha entered to the Parinibbana, Venerable Mahakassapa, one of the senior monks, thought that we should compile the Buddha's teachings. And having thought so, he called the council. And this council was held after 3 months of Buddha's Mahaparinibbana. And King Ajatasattu was sponsoring, patronage. Under his patronage, the council took place. So there were 500 noble monks gathered and compiled the whole Buddha's teachings, which are now known as the Tipitaka or the Tripitaka, and those days known as the Buddha Vachana, the words of the Buddha. And on that council, Venerable Ananda recited all the suttas that he could remember. And that's how almost every suttas in the Sutta Pitaka, the second volume, starts off with Evam me sutang, Evam me sutang. This is what I have heard. Sutang means hearing. Me means I. Evam, like this. So I have heard like this. So that's why the whole of Buddha's teachings in the Tipitaka is based on what the Ananda told to the council, and council compiled and preserved. Once Venerable Ananda recites the suttas, 500 monks will discuss and confirm that yes, the Buddha spoke like that. And that's how it was compiled. Now the Sutta Satipatthana is one of the greatest suttas in the entire Tipitaka, and probably one of the most used and translated and also explained in the Buddhist history. And now it is not just in the Buddhist history that Mahasatipatthana Sutta been chanted and studied, applied in the practices, but also in the secular world as well, secular mindfulness. And it's been used in different forms, in different ways. And the sutta also used to chant, particularly in Sri Lanka, in front of the one who is in a sick or near death, or even after death. Satipatthana Sutta will be chanted. So that's why this is a very, very famous, powerful, and concrete guidelines to practice meditation. But again, this is not the ultimate sutta yet. That's why it is known as a foundation of mindfulness. So the Venerable Ananda started the sutta saying Eva me sutang, and then Ekang samayang bhagava. Ekang samayang bhagava. The Bhagava here means the Buddha, one who has destroyed, a person who has destroyed the hatred, greed, hatred and ignorance. It's called Pakka Raga, Pakka Dosa, Pakka Moha. So one who has destroyed these three, called the Bhagava, worthy of respect, worthy of homage. Ekang samayang. Samaya means one time. Samaya means time. Ekang means one time. So once upon a time, the Lord Buddha, Kuru Saviharati, Kammasa Dhammang Nama. The city called Kuru in a village, Kammasa Dhamma, he was residing. At that time, the Buddha invited the monks. So addressed the monks. And when the Lord Buddha addressed to the monks accepted, received, and then Lord Buddha spoke, saying, Eka yano ayang bhikkhave makho. So this is the one and only way, monks. So this is the only way. This is the one and only way that Buddha said. And here the statement is so profound. This is the only way. And this is simply because this way directly lead to the liberation. And this is the way that only one can travel. No one can go with you. So individual has to work and go on that path. So that's why it is known as the only way. One and only. There is no companions in this path. Once we have found this path, and if we walk, then we definitely arrive to the destiny. That's why it is known as the Satipatthana, as the path is the only path that one should travel alone. And cultivating by alone, and that lead to the liberation. And after that, Buddha is giving the benefit of the practice of the Satipatthana. Why we are practicing Satipatthana? What is the purpose of the practice? And there, Buddha said, Sattanang Visuddhiya, for the purification of beings. And then for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the extinguishing of suffering and grief, for walking on the path to the truth, for the realization of Nibbana. So these are the benefits of the practice of a meditation that Buddha clearly mentioned on the Satipatthana Sutta. Purification of beings, overcoming sorrow and lamentation, extinguishing of suffering and grief, walking on the path to the truth and the realization of the Nibbana. And what is the path? Katame Chattaro. What are the 4 paths, the foundation of mindfulness? And then the Buddha went on saying, Kaye Kayanupassi, Vedanasu Vedananupassi, Chittesu Chittanupassi, Dhammesu Dhammanupassi. These are the 4 foundations. And how do we practice these 4 foundations? So contemplating the Kaye Kayanupassi, contemplating body in the body. Contemplating feeling in the feeling. Consciousness and the phenomena. So basically, body as a base, feeling as a base, mind as a base, and the phenomena as the base for the development of mindfulness. And this is a hypothesis the Buddha established. Anyone who would like to develop or practice meditation, one has to do or practice using these 4 objects of a meditation. Simply Buddha guiding us to ponder within our body, within our feelings, within our minds, and within whatever arising, the phenomena that occurs. And he not only gave a theory, but he also gave a practical way of doing. How do we do? He said, Atapi sampachano satima. Ardently, with a clear comprehension, being mindful. So the 3 words, Atapi sampachano satima, are the guidelines of practice. How do we do practice? So urgently practicing, putting full effort to be aware of this body, to be aware of the sensations, to be aware of the mental activities, and to be aware of anything that is arising, anything that is conditioning within this body and the mind. So urgently ability to be mindful of these 4 foundations. So these 3 words will repeating again and again, again and again. And with that, avijja domanasam, removing craving and aversion. So there is a theory, the guidelines, where to concentrate, how to do, and the results. Removing craving and aversion. And once we have removed our craving and aversion, and that's how we purify ourselves. That's why the first comes Satipatthana Visuddhiya, purification of beings. And the purification of a beings again, how can we purify? In order to have purified mind, first, we have to have purified sila. It's called a sila visuddhi. We have to have observed and practice sila properly. No violation at all. And then we have to have right understanding, right attitude as well. It's called a ditthi visuddhi. And only then comes with the chitta visuddhi, the purification of mind. And there are another 4 higher purifications. So urgently practicing is very important. So we are keeping our practice, nothing is unturned. With our full intention, full motivation, with our faith and confidence, applying all our energies to be mindful. When we are mindful again, we have a clear understanding of what's going on and within this body, within this feelings and mind. In a short form, within this body and mind. But obviously, because our mind is so conditioned, we have a habit patterns that we've been used to and we've been training to be in that way, engaging in worldly matters, entertaining with our sensual pleasures. When we see, we entertain liking, disliking. When we hear, we entertain with it, liking, disliking. We do not want to hear which is unpleasant to us. We only want to hear pleasant one. Things that we don't want to do, we don't want to. And only things that I want to do, I want to do. So with this, we were entertaining. It's called kama guna, sensual pleasures. And when time to meditate, our mind just wanders off, scattered all around, and difficult to keep this mind on the object, aware of this mind and the body, aware of this body, feelings, sensations, mind and objects, and the mental phenomena. And that's how Buddha gradually break it down, break this contemplation on the body down into so many parts, 6 different categories, and within the 6 different categories divided into so many other practices too. And when he divided the bodily contemplation, which we will continue from other time, but I give you just the idea that he started off by observing the breath. And he didn't say observing a breath at the nose or at the abdomen or at the chest. Simply said, the breath is at the front, and we do not know where. So different teachers and different masters use different places to pay attention to and start off meditating, giving our mind an object to work with. And this time, we have to work with that object to keep our mind, to take control of our mind. And repeating, doing again and again, repeatedly bringing this mind back to the object that we have chosen to pay attention to again and again, again and again, until this mind becomes used to and we take the control of this mind. And here at the center, we mostly use the abdomen, rising, falling, or in-breath and out-breath. And you have to choose one or another and work with that. Maybe start off with rising, falling of abdomen, aware of the rising, falling as it happens. When it rises, aware of rising. When it falls, aware of falling. And mentally making a note, having a clear consciousness about it as it happens. Consciously being aware of it and making notes on it as it takes place. Rising, rising, falling, falling. And bring it back again and again. Bring it back again and again. So while you're staying at the center, I want you to use this as a primary object to work and develop your concentration, mental strength. And this would be the primary object of meditation. Now on, so we will sit another half an hour, and then we'll do another half an hour walking in this room, and then continue after half an hour. We will do the sitting meditation again. So mindfully aware each time when we move, and mindfully practicing. And a walking meditation, again, first observe the standing position, aware of a standing by observing the entire body. Relax and send your attention to the right foot, and as you lift and place, mentally making a note, right moving and left moving like that until the end of the pathways, and stand, aware of standing and turning, and again standing, and send your attention to the right foot, and again start walking until the end of the pathways. So likewise we'll do for 30 minutes, first stage of a walking meditation, slowly and mindfully aware of the movement of the feet, so in a walking meditation, standing, walking, standing, turning, walking, turning, standing, walking. So in this way we will be practicing. And once half an hour ends, slowly coming back to our cushions, and again sitting comfortably, paying attention to the breath, abdomen rising, falling, settling down, grounding yourself. So continue practicing.